It's now been 100 days since Linda Watson started as the new CEO of Capital Metro. And critics of the troubled transit agency say things are now back on the right track. KXAN's Chris Willis sat down for a one-on-one interview with Capital Metro's new boss, and he joins us live from the Metro Rail station in North Austin with more. Chris?
Robert, good evening to you. It was not even a year ago Capital Metro was described as mismanaged with big financial problems. An out-of-control agency out of touch with the public. A group that took $200 million and dwindled it away to near bankruptcy. This is a group that spent $61,000 to fight a $500 fine. As for the Metro Rail project, we're live here tonight, as you mentioned, at the Howard Station. After several missed deadlines, this is a project that went about $20 million over budget. Total price tag, about $110 million for a train that, quite frankly, not very many people ride. So when we sat down with the new CEO, Linda Watson, after 100 days, our first topic was her predecessor, former CEO Fred Gilliam, who was handed the definition of a sweetheart financial package to step aside and take early retirement.
Raising the bar within the organization and improving trust and credibility out in the community.
Credibility and trust. Adjectives not traditionally used to describe Capital Metro. The former CEO, Fred Gilliam, will receive $80,000 every year from Capital Metro for the rest of his life. Despite claims of financial mismanagement, ongoing labor troubles, declining ridership, and a diminished public reputation, the previous Capital Metro board gave him the equivalent of 35 years of retirement when he left after only 8 years. Well, those days are now over.
I have a commitment to transparency. It's just the way I operate. I tell our employees we use sales tax money. It's other people's money to operate this service, and people have a right to know how we spend it.
In her first 100 days, the new CEO, Linda Watson, has cleaned house a bit. The executive in charge of finances was asked to resign. So was the executive in charge of the Metro Rail project. And there's a new board of directors that seem to share Watson's goals.
I'm continuing to assess the organization to see where we may need to improve or build our strengths, and I'll make any future changes as they're warranted.
Watson immediately instituted a policy so you can now track every dime spent by Cap Metro online. And she is keenly aware that tax dollars are used at Cap Metro, something she demands every employee be aware of too.
I think you'll see a commitment from this agency, the board, to make sure that the way we conduct our business is we're not only doing the right thing, but we're doing it the right way.
But it takes more than public trust to run a transit system. When it comes to tough decisions, Watson is shrewd yet fair. She's raised fares and now charges the elderly and the disabled to ride the transit when before they rode for free. But at the same time, she's working on a transportation needs fund that'll work with nonprofits to help people who can't afford those fares.
Capital Metro had not raised fares in over 20 years, and it was a very smart business decision to eliminate free fares. It was a very difficult and sometimes controversial decision.
Also controversial, the Metro Rail train service from Leander to downtown. Ridership is a lot lower than expected. Watson's convinced if people try it, they'll use it. But she recognizes changing people's habits is not easy. So her work to improve the rail service will continue.
Starting in January, we will be adding midday service. We've also added some connector service at the rail stations that give people a really convenient, seamless last mile, if you will, for completing their trip.
And the bus service is also changing. More buses with limited stops.
My goal is to have smart buses running on smart streets, stopping at smart stops to make transit travel really convenient.
All right, in the interest of fairness, this is an executive who eats lunch every day in the cafeteria with employees at every level. She actively seeks input from those employees. She rides the bus around town and has also been known to hop on the bus as the employees are wrapping up their shift just to get input and face-to-face time with some of those frontline employees. Time will tell, though, if she can back up her words. The consensus now from critics, though, is that this is exactly the type of leader that Cap Metro so desperately needed. It is, however, your tax money, so we will continue to monitor her progress every step of the way. We're in North Austin tonight, and we're live. Chris Willis, KXAN, Austin News.